Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to another reading. This reading is for the week commencing the 9th of November 2025 and beyond. But whenever you see this, it's meant for you. Please take what resonates and leave the rest for your consideration as time passes and things happen in your life. We shall see what comes through from the divine today. I've been getting a sense of that certain people are going through, they feel like they're enduring and needing to be patient and tolerant, but you're actually processing, I was going to say months, but it's more like a lifetime of things where people did you wrong. I just keep saying people did you wrong. And that seems to be a theme for you, but it's coming to an end this year because, or whatever time you're seeing this video, because you are changing. Some may say, "Yeah, damn right. I'm close-hearted and cynical and whatever." But actually, what it is, and I've mentioned this in previous videos, is that you've got your wits about you now, and you hold yourself in higher esteem. And I don't mean that in an egotistical way. I mean that in you're actually stepping into your own power and can see your own value now. Less self-doubt and more self-confidence. And it's not coming from an ego boost or anything like that, or from anything that anyone says around you or anything like that. It's because you know what you're doing for yourself these days. And you know, and I've said this before, what you'll tolerate in future and what you won't. So that seems to be a theme this year. Just old patterns and old cycles that have come to an end because you can see the cycles and patterns for what they are, and through the number of people that those lessons have come through in your life, you can see the patterns. So the common denominator is you, right? So as you're learning and growing and changing and transforming into someone who can see where you've taken someone's word over your own insight or intuition, or where you've given someone the benefit of the doubt and always let them off the hook. This is what came through the other day. Just kept letting things slide and keep giving them the benefit of the doubt, or having pity on them, or trying to understand them, or forgiving them, all of the above, whatever. Things that you've been tolerating, behaviours and scenarios that you've been tolerating in your life up until now, you're no longer tolerating, and you can see things coming from a mile away, almost to the point where when something good is coming your way, you're eyeballing it with a bit of suspicion, and that's not great. So the pendulum will swing back into balance, back to centre, and that pendulum swing, using that as a metaphor for your emotional state. So as you process your emotions and get clearer in yourself. You'll get stronger in yourself, and things will balance out in your life. Your perspective, the perspective through which you look at your life, will balance out, and you won't feel that you have to be suspicious or second guess anything, because you'll know in your heart of hearts, your gut, your intuitive ability is so strong that you'll just know what moves to take. And sometimes the move to take is to not take a move, yeah? Is to just stand where you are. So whoever that came through for, just know that you have the strength to get through whatever it is you feel you're enduring. I feel like underneath that there is an amount of emotion that needs to be released. So whether you wrap yourself in a cozy blanket and get on the couch and give yourself a hug and let yourself cry it out, or get in a bath or a shower, or get out in nature, or speak to a dear friend, or do some journaling, whatever it is that you need to do. Don't force it, but if the emotion is there, allow it to come out. If you feel like you need to be strong and hold that back, you're going to prolong what it is you feel that you're enduring, if that makes sense. Okay? And one more, Spirit. Okay. One more. You're saying one more? Yeah, okay. All good. So, wowsies. We've got the devil. And the world. And I haven't made enough room for myself. The Emperor. Temperance. Strength. Death. This is all it all looks like doom and gloom, but it's not. The moon, the tower, the lovers, and the chariot. Okay, and then underneath we have the high priestess. So this is, before I start reading, I'll just start with this card on the bottom of the deck, because it's kind of like what the underlying theme is underneath all of this. You're in a position, or soon be in a position, where you are going to make some choices. Now it could be pragmatic things like finding a place to rent or buy, or buying a new car, or things like that, but making choices. And your intent is that those choices will be fruitful for you. And what I'm getting here is that it's almost like no matter what choice you make, it's the way that you make the choice, the way that you make the decision, the faculties within you that you employ, that you make by which you make the decision, it will be the decider as to whether it's fruitful or not for you. So if you make if you make the decision in the right way, then it doesn't matter which choice you take, because it will be fruitful. So it's almost like if you're at a crossroad needing to make a decision, it's the way that you go about it is the lesson, more so than, I better make the right choice here, because it's going to affect my future or whatever. And what I always tell people with this is sometimes certain options look better on paper, or they tick certain criteria that right now we deem as important or place priority on. And then there might be other options that don't tick so many of those boxes. But there are other things that those options have that we don't currently place priority on. Okay? We make a decision based on our priorities today, which we've come to prioritise as from a mental place, then we're not taking into account that when we interact with those objects or those people or those options, how are we going to feel? So, for example, a property might look great on paper, ticks all the boxes of what you think you want or what's important to you in a property, and then you go to visit the property and it doesn't quite feel so good, or you learn more about the property, the landscape and everything, and you go, it ticks all the boxes mentally. You know, if I was going by my mind only, this would be a no-brainer and I'd just go for it. But in actual fact, you go and see another property that also looks great, in fact looks even better in the photos, but it doesn't meet the criteria of what you were looking for, then you go and see it anyway, just because it's a beautiful place, and you can see how you feel, how it makes you feel. Especially when it's your home we're talking about, you want to pick a place that makes you feel right. Yeah, it's not about making decisions with the mind all the time. Because down the track, if you choose that property that makes you feel good, as things progress in your life and time goes by, your priorities will change and your criteria will actually change in ways that you can't foresee today. Yeah. So my sort of thing with this card is always, how are you going about making the decision? It's not about the decision that you make, wrong or right. It's about how you go about making it. And I'm saying make it intuitively, go with your gut instinct, and how the different options make you feel when you interact with them. Okay? So some choices to be made, it seems. So in the current position, if I was to sort of describe where you're at right now, it seems that you are having to speak up for yourself in perhaps some very rude ways. So it's like you're giving people some harsh realities through your words. You just get in check with yourself in terms of I feel like this is happening because you feel burnt out and you feel like you've had enough. And this is going back to what I was saying at the beginning about you feel like you're enduring a lot, or you've reached breaking point and you're ready to snap and burn someone with your words. And so your go-to when you don't feel in control of your life, or where you've carried all that you can bear, that kind of thing, you know, the last straw on the camel's back, and you're ready to blow, this is kind of where you're at. Your go-to is to just start your tolerance of people's stuff and the encumbrances that they sort of put upon you energetically or otherwise, what they expect of you, you're kind of pushing that off and saying, had enough. Or maybe you're doing it all and then you're getting home and blowing up at whoever's at home. But the steam's got to come out somewhere, right? I'm not making excuses for abusing people at home. I'm just saying the steam has to come out somewhere. So if you don't focus in a tempered way, where was the temperance card? You've already learned temperance. This is the past. So if you don't moderate yourself and find ways to settle your nerves through self-care and through the choices that you make in terms of where you place your energy and what you tolerate and all that kind of stuff, then you're going to get a build-up of resentment towards the people or situations or environments that you feel are putting pressure on you. So the trick is to actually go home, get in a bath, or do some writing, whatever gives you clarity. Spend time in nature where you get more grounded and more clear within your heart and your soul and your mind, and let the fire dissipate, and then you'll start to see things more clearly. Then you can address the next day, address the things that need to be addressed. So you can say things in a more diplomatic way than what you would once you hit boiling point, if that makes sense. So if you address things at a whisper, you don't have to have a rude awakening because you just can't take it anymore. You don't have to give anyone else a rude awakening, and you don't have to take a rude awakening from anybody else because you've been just putting up with it. Actually address things is the message that I'm getting here. But it's kind of like there's some of you who have just been under an enormous amount of pressure for quite some time, and you're just not having it anymore. I've had enough, get off my back, or whatever it is, you're like just ready to explode. You're fed up. And so the influence and suggestion coming from spirit, the influence coming from the universe, is that of the world. So if certain things need to be put to an end, set down your burdens and put them to an end. But it's also about how you interact with the world, and the very many different personalities that you deal with and influences that you deal with, variables that you juggle. How do you go about managing those? Because for me, very much this card has always been about, in part, very much about the fact that you enjoy certain interactions, and you enjoy being needed, or you enjoy having a lot of connections or doing a lot of things for people. Or it may just be your family that you do a lot for, that you're the centre of it, and the kind of weight of of what needs to be done, whether it's logistics on a day-to-day basis, or whether it's just whether it's the emotional stuff when there's emotional upheavals within family or within the workplace. You seem to be the one who bears the brunt of that and has to help people through their stuff because they seem ill-equipped. And so with your big generous heart, you are looking for solutions, whether it's at home or at work or in other areas of your life. And that's all great. And what the influence is to actually manage yourself to do it in a way where you enjoy it. So it's not about just burning yourself out and burning out your nervous system and blowing your mind, where you need to get home and have some brandy, or you need to punch into your punching bag, that's not a bad thing. But why is this energy and resentment, why is it building up in the first place? How are you managing yourself in a way that you interact with these people who need you to play a certain role for them? Why are you interacting in a way with them that leaves you exhausted or resentful or burnt out? That's what you're being called to address. Do things in a way that is sustainable for you. And that means sometimes that we postpone. Someone needs us at this time, on short notice, or tomorrow, and you have other things planned for yourself, especially if it's self-care, then you say, I can't make it that day, or no, I can't drop everything right now and come over and mollycoddle you. Especially if it's been ongoing patterns So say if it's at work and you've been in meetings and you've warned people, no, I don't think that this decision is a great idea because it's going to leave us vulnerable in this area, for example, or it's going to put this group of people's nose out of joint, and we really need to keep them in favour because they're the ones who stay back at night when there's a problem that needs to be fixed so that work functions well the next morning, or they're the ones that, you know, that turn up on the weekend when there's a disaster. So we need to show loyalty to these people through the decisions, and they say, no, we know what we're doing, you're the only one saying that, that's fine, we have to do it this way, or whatever the decision is. And then push comes to shove. And it happens. So you can see patterns where there's repeating patterns, repeating cycles of behaviour with people that, you know, it might be the dynamics at work or at home or other areas of your life or within your relationships. The thing is for you to do your best to affect change in that, but also it's about, I bailed you out 50 times in a row, right? I'm not so available to you anymore. If you're going to keep putting yourself or yourselves in this situation that makes you vulnerable or that brings destruction upon your life or whatever it is, I'm not going to keep dropping everything that I'm doing to bail you out. I'm going to be less available, less accessible, because I need to do what I need to do so that I don't build up to burn out. And if you do that and address these things, what you can expect is to come to a much more settled and grounded place within yourself, where you look at the difference between how the devil, this image, is thinking and feeling, not in a good space, right? But look at this person, they're saying, I've done what I've had to do. Yeah, the Empress sits strong with their decisions and they do what they have to do. It's not about woohoo party, but it is about, I do things in a certain way that keeps me balanced so that my life works for me. Yeah? The influence that's coming in perhaps later on in the week or in the coming weeks, but I'm trying to do this for the week. So, you know, for some people this may not be relevant until another 3 weeks' time, but at least if you've watched the video, you've got what you need to sort of help you through. So after this influence passes through, you'll feel another influence coming in, and that is one that's calling for change. Now, there's nothing to be scared of here with the Death card. This is about change that you bring about, decisions that you make for your highest good. And the purple's really standing out for me. So it's really about you being really intuitive about, it's what you sense you need, the decisions that you sense you need to make for yourself. And there'll be some people who aren't wrapped in it, in what you decide, or may have something to say about it. I think for the most part they'll be quiet, but they won't be wrapped because they know. It's almost like when the person who's been the most tolerant and patient and is always there for everyone, or whatever the role is that you play within your workplace or home or whatever, it's almost like when you finally make these decisions for yourself, the people around you are going to go, yeah, we don't want you to make those decisions because they're not in our best interest, but yeah, we get it. We get it. So doing what you need to do for yourself. Okay? So keep those two things in mind because they're the main influences that are coming in. So you're needing balance in the way that you conduct yourself with the world and using your discernment. And then that puts you in a place of peace as opposed to burnout. And then you're able to take on the next sort of challenge, and that is to make some intuitive decisions for your betterment. And my eye keeps getting drawn from moving from the house, moving home, but going to a better place that suits you better. So it's kind of a passionate decision. You have passion. You can feel that your life will be filled with more passion. If you're excited about this move. So for some people it will be a moving house or moving location. Could be moving jobs, but in this instance it's more. It is house or location, or because I'm seeing the tilled farm soil here, the field that's tilled, so that represents work. So it is quite possible either one of those or both. Time to make some change. That's what's coming, to start considering it and changing. And as I said over here, to make those decisions based on how you feel and intuitively, rather than what just looks better on paper, what meets your criteria through the limited scope that you have in your mind today of what's important to you, because that will change. Right? Distant past, there've been some emotional times, some emotionally troubling times, but you learned how to basically have trust and faith in yourself and the divine. That, for some, I don't know why this is happening to me, but what are the words? I don't know why this is happening to me, but I trust that it's for my highest good. And when you do that, you're able to accept whatever the change in circumstances are, and you got yourself ready to move along your path, okay, and accept the changes. It's sort of like you got a gift from it. There's been gifts bestowed upon you for you benefited. You can see the benefit to you from these things happening, but you didn't enjoy the process, if that makes sense. And then more recently, you found more strength within yourself, where you feel like, I've tamed the beast. Like I've worked this out now. I know what to do. Having come out of difficult times, and then you're sort of like, I know what to do now. But it required you finding strength within yourself. And so you can see the pattern, right? And then you accept the changes, you find the strength, you get frustrated with things that aren't working so well in your life anymore. And so for you, as you come through this process of healing, you come into self-empowerment, then you're in your life, and your life, the way that you interacted with life and with people, the people in it, was a certain way for who you were before. But now you're more empowered and stronger and clearer in yourself for what you've experienced. So now you can see where you need to change certain relationships, or change certain patterns, or end certain patterns or cycles, and making yourself less accessible, and whatever it is that you have to do to be able to do things in a sustainable way, so that you enjoy your life more and don't feel so burnt out and resentful. And that then takes you to a place of real solid, grounded, like this is a person of integrity. And as I said, they're not throwing a party, but they know who they are, and they know what they want, and they get what they want. It doesn't mean that they're aggressive necessarily, but they're no longer allowing other people's input or their sense of duty or obligation to other people for them to play a certain role for other people or do things in a certain way is no longer encumbering or distracting or blocking them from doing what they need to do for themselves. Okay? And from there, you make solid decisions moving forward as to what you want to do intuitively. Here we have the moon, and so this is the attitude that you're applying to where you're at currently, and the moon is all about processing emotions, feeling quite sad or a little bit depressed, or feeling like you've been knocked down on your bum, basically. And I always say that feeling there is an opportunity for when we get when we've done a certain amount of processing, we then can bounce back up and do things a different way. And this is what this process is. So you're still processing some things that have happened in the past, but you will get through it. And remember, this is attitude, right? So this is the place where if Spirit wants to call you out and say your attitude sucks, you're not going to get the best out of any situation with the attitude you've got. This is where it happens. Now, I don't want to give you a kick in the bum because you're feeling sad. You're feeling sad for a reason. But do your processing, do the things that I've said earlier. If you want to book a personal reading, I certainly can equip you with tools of how to process things more efficiently. But it is about looking to the light, finding the brightness in things, that silver lining on the clouds. It's not about, I'm not one to say, oh, just be positive, but I am one to say to trust and have faith that things are happening the way they are for a reason, and that is for your highest good. So that requires that we learn the lessons that we learn, and attached to those lessons is emotional pain or emotional weight. So, but whatever is tying you down emotionally, it's just like you're not depressed, when we hit that low point or a lull, that's us at base level with no frills and spills or distractions, okay? We've been put in a situation where we have to face and accept the situation that is, the way that it is. So, from there, once we deal with that, if there was an element of shock involved or surprise, then that's where we process that shock. Once we've done that, we can spring back up and get on with doing things the new way that we need to do it for ourselves, based on who we are today, because it's life-changing. And I say that because the next card is the Tower. So this is a snapshot of the role that you're playing within your life at the moment. So I feel like there were some towers that happened, some unexpected events or changes that were thrust upon you some time ago. And now you're the role that you're playing within your life is that you're providing tower moments for other people. So for those who don't know, there's two people up on the tower enjoying a great life. They think it's a great life, and the universe is coming along and saying, you know what, you two, for your highest good, need to go on your separate ways, because you've gone as far down the path together as you're meant to go. And so what happens is we either learn something about the other person or the situation or the environment that really shocks us. It's like having the wool taken from our eyes. It's like just rude awakenings, sudden shift in perception of people, places or environments. That's what I feel you've encountered in the past, and that's the role you're kind of playing within your own life. And I feel that it's through the decisions that you've already made, the changes that you're already putting into place. But I think so far, judging by this, it's been out of frustration that you've communicated certain things, and it might have been coming across very harsh, and so that creates tower, like the lightning strikes the tower and throws these two people in two different directions, right? So this is you calling out people whether you're trying to make them hold them accountable for things, or just venting your frustration with the way that they're in consideration of you, for example, or many other things it can be. And so by you doing it the way that you're communicating your frustration and that resentful energy, you're the lightning bolt that's striking different areas of your life and people in it, if that makes sense. So that's an interesting one. I might put another card out there just to clarify that one in a moment. And so it seems that you're seeking a relationship. You're seeking to connect intimately with another person, whether you have someone in mind or not. You, especially for the journey that you've been on and are currently on, you know what you have to bring to the table. And the warning that comes with this today is try not to repeat cycles of the past. So there's no point us going through all these cycles and recognizing them through pain and all this stuff that we've had, what I've just explained to you, just to return to same cycles. And what I'm being shown is happening here today is you bringing a very grounded, beautiful, attention to detail kind of energy here, and that means that you're able to really see the needs of your partner and cater to them, whereas your partner's too busy just feeling sorry for themselves, for example, or is in some way encumbering you instead of lifting you up the way that you're lifting them up, or that they don't have the capacity to give you the level of care and support that you afford them. Okay? Now, if we translate that back to here, where we're saying we need to bring our awareness to how we're interacting with people and places, environments in our lives, that you don't overgive, overshare, over anything. You do things in a balanced way, in a sustainable way for you, so that you feel you can do it happily rather than feeling drained and becoming resentful or eventually intolerant because you're tolerating too much, because nothing's going in your favour, or it's just like the give and take isn't there. So that translates over to the warning that comes with this. So it seems that you have a secret desire for certain more intimate interactions with a certain individual, but you at the same time fear. I think the fearing is that you don't want history to repeat itself, and so I will put another card down there as well, and then we'll talk about the end game. So this one first. And so yes, so this is exactly what I was talking about. For me, this makes sense before I've even thought about it, because I was saying basically out of frustration, the role you're playing in your life is that you're basically burning people with your words and giving them rude awakenings of what you won't tolerate anymore, or whatever it is. You're much more outspoken these days, but it's not coming out in a balanced way. And so this is the opposite of the devil, in my view, the way that I look. It's a judgment card, and see how the angel is expressing, communicating, and it's being received well. Spirit's saying that's the other way to do it. You don't have to do this, but it's understood why you're doing it, why you're there, and you've been given the advice in terms of how to handle things moving forward. I think because you desire to always give high level, like you always are looking to do the best. You want to improve. You want things to improve for yourself and for those around you, but your own priority, you place your own needs for that as a low priority, and you put other people first all the time, and you think, if I can just change this environment or just help these people, then they'll listen to me when it's time to make decisions, but they don't. They'll still do what they do, and so you need to work out, well, how do I have to interact here in a way that doesn't leave me feeling resentful, where I have to really, start screaming at people to get them to change, or to tell them what or shock them with news that I'm leaving, or that I'm no longer am going to do this way, or whatever. You can do it in a more diplomatic way that's sensitive to the ears of the people receiving the news. But you can only do that once you process that unexpressed emotion. Okay? So do your self-care and let those things support you, so that you feel like the energy is moving. You haven't got things just sitting in a pit of your stomach. Okay? And then you won't build up all this sort of resentment and stuff like that. It is through your words that you're kind of shocking people at the moment. Through the way you're behaving, that's shocking people at the moment. And you may not even be aware of that sometimes it's just because you've changed through this process, you are simply doing things differently, and it all just seems a little bit easier for you at the moment. You're doing things that make things easier for you, which is in line with what the advice is from Spirit. So, but people are kind of going, oh, they've never done it that way before, or they seem to be taking it well this time, or whatever it is. People are noticing the change in you. But there's more change to come, and what you're growing into is a higher version of yourself. Okay? And so, there we go. What's required in terms of you stepping towards, or your desire to be in some kind of relationship, or to improve the one that you're in, is balance again. So I'm coming back to the point of self-empowerment again, and self-care. So the Empress is all about sitting back, taking stock of the resources you have available to you, to use them for your benefit. Okay, so apply that attitude towards your relationships. It's not all about what you can do for others. So even your work relationships, family relationships, whatever, it's not all about the beauty and groundedness and clarity and peace and love and whatever that you offer to everybody else. What are you receiving in this dynamic? Okay, so she's all about receiving the benefits of the environments that she places herself in and the people who she surrounds herself with. She gets benefit from it. It's a two-way street. Yeah? This is not about reliving the imbalance of taking care of somebody else and negating your own needs. So you're a beautiful person, and I mean internally, your intent is amazing. You're gonna share that with someone that you have feelings for, but you won't have any of it for yourself, because that person will, how can I put it? You need to be in a place where you can replenish yourself, replenish what you give. If it's not going to be equally reciprocated from the other person, perhaps they have a different love language to you, and so they can't do what you do for them, but they can do these other things for you. But even so, are your basic needs being met? Endeavour to meet them yourself even before you step into a relationship with somebody else, and build that side of yourself up, and then you'll have less to worry about. So if there's any issues around trust, can I trust this person, if you develop your relationship with yourself and make sure that you've demonstrated to yourself many times that you will not, is the word subjugate? I don't know, but put yourself last and negate yourself and avoid noticing red flags or acting on red flags or expressing yourself or whatever, expressing yourself. Anything like that, like, you know, where you shut parts of yourself down and shut down your needs, because the other person seems to be in more need than you, or whatever it is. If it's an imbalanced situation, the way that you're able to enter into a new relationship, and take away the issue of, can I trust this person not to do to me what the other person did or whatever, is that you need to be able to trust yourself that you will see the red flags, because you know you always did, and you respond to them differently because today you love yourself. I operate in a manner that indicates to me, that demonstrates to me my love for myself. I don't simply do things in service for others relentlessly, where my energy's just going out and out and out, and nobody's bringing it in, and I certainly aren't doing anything to protect my reserves, or to replenish my energy or sense of self-love. I'm not doing any of that. I'm going to resent the people that are receiving everything from me. I'm going to get worn out and I'm going to get resentful. Yeah? So it really is about taking stock and reassessing how the way you're operating in your life, and are you doing it in a way that replenishes you, that serves you, that gives, or at least gives you time and space to be able to replenish your energies, or renegotiate deals, or renegotiate agreements within relationships of whatever kind, so that the situation is more fair for you. Okay? And make whatever decisions that you need to make intuitively. You know, if people go, no, not changing, no, I want it this way, it suits me, and that's the only way it's going to be, then maybe you've got some decisions to make, or you need to find a better way to express yourself. Okay, and the end result here, and so when I say end result, there's a great chance that this is where you kind of end up. If you take all of this on board and do things, you know, the more in alignment your actions are with your highest good, the more likely this is going to be what comes of all of it, if that makes sense. You know, there's always free will, and so you may make decisions along the way that are not in your best interest, and so then this changes in time. But it's all good. It's all good. You're always being looked after. So where we end up here is the Chariot, and so again it's about making choices. It's about that if you do all this, you'll really be able to recognise which places, people, and environments or dynamics no longer serve you, and you will make moves to step away from those people, places, environments, dynamics, because it no longer serves you to do that, to stay there. And whoever's coming with you is coming with you for the ride. If they don't want to come with you and they want to stay where they are, they can do that, but you're going to do what you need to do for yourself. And so that's been the theme throughout the whole thing, right? Making intuitive decisions for yourself that are for your best interest, for your highest good. Okay, I'm going to leave it there. Please like, share, subscribe, and you know, we all need to take responsibility for the decisions that we make in our own lives. And as I'm saying this and I'm trying to wrap up the video, an echidna just walked past my window. And I've spoken about echidna before. Spirit said to me today, get your spirit animal guides book out, because it's quite possible that through the reading an animal spirit guide will pop up, and you're going to want your book, and you're not going to want to have to pause the video in order to go and get your book. So I got my glasses and I got my book, and just as I was going to wrap it up, echidna walked past the window. They're such beautiful creatures. I don't know if you can see that. Now, I've spoken about echidna before, and what came through with that was a very specific message, and I don't think I read from the book. And this time I'm going to read from the book, just take what resonates, and then I'll add whatever I feel I need to add to that. This is a time to be vigilant and cautious in unfamiliar or uncomfortable situations. You'll find yourself more easily accessible. You'll find yourself more easily accessing the non-visible worlds. So pay close attention to any forms of communication from spirit helpers or ancestors. Be more discerning about letting others into your personal space, but don't keep everyone at a distance in order to do so. That's what I was talking about, right? Whatever you've been curious about exploring or studying, dig in and learn more about it. And that was a theme in, I think, my previous, the last video I did before this one, or the one before that. And so the echidna has the spikes underneath. The reason it has the spikes is because underneath they are just so soft and so vulnerable. And what they do when a predator comes through and find themselves in a situation where they don't feel safe, they roll up into a ball, they put their little nose, their little faces in underneath, and all they become is a ball of spikes. And these spikes are ferocious. They don't attack anybody, but their protection is there if they need it. It's because without that, they would be completely vulnerable. So how does that relate to what we've been saying today? So when you're really, bursting out at people and burning people with your words, that's you with your spikes. You've had to learn how to stand up for yourself, because in the past you were taken advantage of and even bullied. So that's the feeling that I have. That may not be for everyone. But you felt like you got the short end of the straw, or whatever the right words are, and so you had to regain your strength, and this process has woken you up to your inner knowing of what happened and what you won't allow to happen again. And so you've changed, and in your current environment, in turn your life has to change. The way that you interact with people around you is changing, and so that's causing you some frustration or friction. And if people don't watch out, they're going to feel the spikes, right? The fire. So you're also worried about entering into a new relationship, or it might be your current relationship, but you want to bring change into the mix, but you don't know how. And there are trust issues, or there's you're worried about old cycles repeating. This is where us finding our voices and empowering ourselves to do what we need to do for ourselves to feel complete and whole, and that we can do things because we don't do anything that doesn't serve us. And it doesn't mean that we've become selfish people at the expense of others. It means that we won't accept the short end of the straw, the short straw, or the rough end of the stick, or whatever the right words are. Right? It has to work. Any situation or agreement or arrangement has to work for us too. Whereas in the past, it seems, that didn't matter so much for us, so long as everybody else was happy. Now we want to make sure we're happy too, and that we're satisfied with our decisions and what we get out of it. Yeah? Otherwise we move on. But not before we express things. Okay? I'll leave it there. Lots of food for thought. That's from Stephen D. Farr, PhD, Animal Spirit Guides. It's a great book. I find it very useful. You can also go online and there's plenty of websites that talk about animal spirit guides as well, so that's a good one. All right, all the best. Have a great week, and I'll see you next time. Bye.